Thanks for watching this video. This video is going to be about dream boards. DSI has decided to create a dream board project which maps all the goals, short-term and long-term, for about the next 10 years into the foreseeable future for clients. It sounds like a big task, but we've broken it down into manageable chunks and something fun to do with the clients that kind of shows them where they're going and what they want and helps them visualize it. So to start out with, I'd like to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is sort of helping us make sure that we're getting everything mapped out that the clients are looking for, because really it's about these self-fulfillment needs right up here and these psychological needs. We're going to be expecting our basic needs to have been met through our programming. So at the bottom, all the way to the top, this pyramid represents these different needs that human beings have to not only survive, but to thrive. And we want our clients to thrive. So this project is going to help us map out how to help them do that based on what they are looking for. And then hopefully we will build curriculum for our classes and also our programming for DSI around this. So at the bottom we have psychological needs, which is our food, our water, warmth, rest, things like the basic stuff, what you would need to just survive, basically. Then we have our safety needs. Do we feel safe? Do we feel secure where we live? Do we feel financially okay? Then we start getting into the psychological needs and self-fulfillment needs. So these ones here, belongingness and love needs. Do we have intimate relationships? And intimate not meaning sexual, but do we have people that we are close with that are confident, somebody we can rely on, and somebody, if I suppose you wanted to be romantic with, do you have that option as well? Then you have friendships. So friendships being literally people that you are friends with, people you spend time with, people you relate to. And then a sense of belongingness is very important in human beings. So it's not just feeling loved or to love, but to feel like you belong somewhere. Then we have esteem needs, which is prestige and feeling of accomplishment, which is basically, you can relate that to like your work, your career, like how you feel about your self-efficacy, like how well you feel like you do at things, okay? And then we have up here self-actualization needs, which is only met usually when these other things have been met, because if you don't have a safe place to live here, if you don't have food, if you don't feel like you have friends or somebody to talk to when you're having a hard time with these things, if you don't feel like you're making enough money or you're not getting anywhere, it's going to be really hard to do the self-actualization thing. So this is what we want to get to here for our clients. We want to get them to a place where they have dreams and goals and we can help them achieve those things. So that means achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. And then that means that we make sure when we talk to them and we interview them that all these are met, and they should be. And then we start to chart these different things. Okay? So this is the kind of reasoning behind what we're doing. So we kind of check off all the little boxes. You have received a kit that has several papers in it. The first paper that we use to do our dream boarding and mapping out is this questionnaire called the Life Domain Vision Tool, and it's from the Person-Centered program at Life Course Nexus. So we use this to kind of help guide us through questions, and we're going to talk about the question process in just a minute, and we just want to make sure we keep our questions very open. These are just kind of to help you ask questions over here. You don't have to ask this exact question because we have to remember some of our clients have trouble with communication, so we need to take what's here and break it down for them in a way that we can ask them or figure that out. So the first one is daily life and employment. What do I think I will do or want to do during the day in my adult life? What kind of job or career would I like? The second one is community living. Where would I live in my adult life? Will I live alone or with someone else? Social and spirituality. How will I connect with spiritual and leisure activities and have friendships and relationships in my adult life? Healthy living. How will I live a healthy lifestyle and manage healthcare supports in my adult life? Safety and security. How will I stay safe from financial, emotional, physical, sexual harm in my adult life? Advocacy and engagement. What kind of valued roles and responsibilities do I or will I have? And how can I control my own life? Supports for family. How do I want my family to still be involved and engaged in my adult life? And supports and services. What support will I need to live as independent as possible in my adult life, and where will my supports come from? Now those certain things there are pretty precise as far as asking questions, but we need to break them down for each client and ask them in a way that helps them. So what I like to do is I like to help them imagine for the first question, daily life and employment. 5 years from now, what would you like to see yourself be doing during the day and in your afternoon? What's your ideal day and ideal afternoon? What would be your favorite thing to do during the day and at night? And over here I have a client that I went through with, and she said make jewelry, sewing, crafts, working out, and then she wants to be out in the community and she wants to go to the deli, go for walks on the track. And she was very specific. She would like to go to the track so she can keep track of the amount of time she goes around. She wants to get into puppetry, which is very interesting because I've known her for a long time and I've never known that about her. And then she wants to do chores and wants to be in charge of the dishwasher at home. She is not interested in working a job as an actual job to make money, and she's not really interested in going into the community to get a job. She's more interested in learning different things here at the DSI workshop in the E&E program. It's going to be very varied from person to person. This just happens to be one of the first people that I did, and this is what she was interested in. Community living. She's happy with her living situation and her roommates. She would like to live by herself one day as a goal. Social and spirituality. She would like to visit her dad more. She likes to go to a movie with her family. She's happy with her friendships, but she would like to spend more time with one person in particular. And she would like to have access to visit her church and her father more often. Healthy living. She wants to follow the set of rules set up by her doctor and staff. She wants to keep up with her medications and her immunizations. These are her words. She wants to make sure she always gets her flu shot. Eating and nutrition program help. That's something that she brought up that she wants continued support in and help with. She wants a reminder of good bathroom habits, and she wants to go on more walks. Safety and security. She needs help planning with her money. She says she has a hard time with that. She wants to make her own earrings, and I think that means she wants to sell them in art show and things like that. And there it is again, more earrings. She wants to be able to make money somehow and buy more clip-on earrings. So you won't always get a big grandiose answer from your clients. That's okay too. Their goals are their goals. So everything that they choose to do does not have to be over the moon. But there are some clients who have over the moon goals. Let them know when you're helping them out with this. Either is fine or both. You can have big goals and little goals. Then there's supports from family. She wants to visit her family and her dad more. And supports and service. She needs transportation for her medical needs and things like that. She just wants to make sure that we keep getting her to her doctors when she needs to go. Okay, so once that's filled out, we will want to skip on over to this page right here. Turn it sideways like this. Don't mind the scribbles down below. And this says, where is life going? And then up here you have go into the community is her big goal. And then down here what she doesn't want to have happen. And she doesn't want to choke on food and have to go to the hospital. Okay, so through these different things you have goals, choices, and ideas. And that's really a trajectory about a goal. Okay, and we broke it down into different steps over here about go into the community more. And then down here, we did the same thing. We broke this down into steps. These are the steps that you would take to make bad choices, which sounds kind of weird, but sometimes, whoops, sometimes people don't realize they're making bad choices until they can identify the small things that they're doing. So this is kind of helpful as an anti-goal. Okay, so for our example here, we said tell staff in BC you want more HAB hours. Choose HAB hours to go to. Pick places you can go and plan with HAB staff. Volunteer at animal clinic. And then down here, the choke on the food one, we have take smaller bites, chew slowly, drink in between bites, slow down, wait in between bites to take more food. So those are her kind of goals, all right? And it could be something real simple like this, like don't choke on your food, right? That seems like kind of a regular kind of thing we would not want to do, but sometimes that's difficult for clients. So this is kind of like what they want to stay away from, and this is what they want to move towards. Okay, so helping them realize that getting to a goal isn't impossible if you break it down in steps. When you're conducting your interview, you want to make sure to use open questions. An open question is a question that does not have a yes or no answer. So an open question could be, where do you like to go out to eat? What kind of things do you like to eat? A closed question would be, do you like salad? That would be yes or no. Open questions allow anybody you're interviewing to give you a broader scope of an answer, something larger, something that gives more details. Now, if you have a client that has trouble communicating, sometimes you want to use a way to communicate that makes more sense for them. So that could be just for ease of use for them mostly. You can use a small communication board like this. So you don't have to be a master artist to draw anything. So you could ask them a question about their living situation and what their goals are there. Do you want to live with staff and at home with roommates? Or do you want to live on your own? And even if they cannot read, they can still probably understand by yourself or with people. Okay? Then we have this chart over here, something like this, and I'll send you guys a facial chart with different emotions. And you could say, does the thought of living on your own make you happy, sad, very sad, things like that. So if they have trouble communicating, you can use things like this in conjunction. It's also important to remember that some clients do not understand abstract concepts, only literal. So if you give them a picture of this and this, they're going to think, I can only live with 3 people, and they might not pay attention to this. Or they think, I only live by myself in a house with no doors. So be careful of things like that. And some clients have trouble with reading faces. So if you have a client who has trouble reading faces with emotion, they might not understand that, so that might not be appropriate. More literal translation like this might work better for them. Okay? So you know your clients best, and you know what works for them, and you know a way that you can communicate. The second one is don't lead with answers, lead with questions. That means don't start giving them an answer in the question that you're asking. Don't ask something like, do you like going to the mall? Would you like to go to a mall? When you're already suggesting something. Instead, but you're suggesting the mall. Instead, say something like, where do you like to go out into the community? Okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to limit their answers, and they're going to focus primarily on what you're telling them and not what they're actually liking or thinking about. Okay? If you're not sure how to do this, you can try the Big 5, which is who, what, when, where, and how. This is something they use in journalism to find information out about a story, but it also works really well in interviewing. So you can ask them who they want to be with, what they want to do, when they want to do it, where they want to do it, and how. So a good question could be then, if you're talking about work and career, we can skip the who at first because it's you, the person you're interviewing, right? Get rid of that one for just a moment. What do you want to do in the community? And then maybe they'll say work at a junkyard. When would you like to work at that junkyard? And they may say during the day, or just part of the day in the afternoon, or 5 days a week, or just the weekends. And you'll start to learn their schedule. Where? Are you okay with working in Columbus, or do you need to work right by your home? And how? How are you going to work there? And that's the part that you usually map out with them. Meaning, what steps will you take to get to this job that you want to work at? And then also breaking down steps for things like transportation and stuff like that. That can be something they can work out with their BC, but it doesn't mean you can't take a second to write it down. It's also important when you're doing this to make sure it's okay, they know, to dream big or small. Either is fine, and in fact, both are fine. I have a client that I interviewed recently who wants to go to Switzerland. That is a big dream. It would take a lot of steps to get there. It is still doable. It will be difficult. Just in case, though, we came up with a plan B also. So it's okay to dream big, but it's also nice to have a dream small. A plan B is a good one. So instead, we talked about also maybe possibility of a day trip or a weekend trip to a place she liked, like Nashville, Tennessee. And then don't use no, but redirect to another question. So when they give you an answer and they say they want to be an astronaut, don't say no, you can't be an astronaut. Instead say, that may be difficult. Do you think maybe a good way to learn more about space would be to visit a museum about space? Is that something that you would like to do? And you can write that down as a goal. And then remember, no is a last resort for yes or no and or communication. So like we talked about, if you have a client who can only answer yes or no through actually you asking them questions or them pointing to visual aids, that's okay if some of these things don't work. Ultimately, we just want to make sure we're giving them what they want for programming and getting this dream board made in a way that actually makes sense and is very helpful. Everyone in your household will be getting one of these pre-made. The only thing that won't be on there is the name in the middle. You'll have to add that yourself. But this is a piece of cardboard that we'll be sending for the dream boards, and you'll be supplied with different things you need at home to work on these. If you have questions or concerns about the dream board project, you're always welcome to contact me at jgrizanka@DSI Services, and then I can help you in any way you want. You can also contact us here in general at DSI and ask to speak to Jennifer, the art lady. I'll be more than glad to help you. If you're also needing some help with this project, I'm more than happy to get on and Zoom with you and your clients and help you in any way you need possible. Here is the little wheel that I sent you out, the kind of circle wheel. And what you want to do here is we want to just break down kind of what she said into this little paper here. The other one was kind of like a long interview. You want to distill just a couple of things, more help getting to church and events, become better friends with a certain person here, need to go to church more, visit dad more, see family. And what we've done here is we highlighted the most important words. And the reason for that is at the very end, we're going to be doing this for more than 100 clients across DSI. We want to make sure that we take these words and we're going to feed them into a word cloud. And that's going to show up in huge words for the things that show up the most and small words for the things that show up the least amount. And when that happens, it'll give us a good idea in an aggregate kind of way, all together kind of way, compounded kind of way, what programming should kind of head towards. So you can see here the things we talked about are broken down, help with eating and nutrition planning, reminder of good bathroom habits, work on art in the community, follow rules. So jewelry, sewing crafts, workout, community walks, puppets do chores, okay? If you're having a really hard time and you don't have the time when you're at home dealing with clients, you can skip this one if you really have to get this one down. But please make sure that you do a thorough job with it because this kind of represents what they're going to be working on. One of the last things included in your pack is just a supplemental kind of thing. And this can be used if you're having a hard time helping clients figure out what they want, or they're having a hard time figuring out what they want. These are descriptive word lists. And you can see here, you have nice, amazing, good, happy, different lists. And in each one of those are synonyms that help you kind of find a word that is more precise for them. Okay, so if they're having a hard time and they're a client who needs help picking out wording or communicating that way, this might be helpful. And this might also help too, because sometimes clients aren't even really sure and haven't really thought much about what it is that they want because they're not really asked that often. So how I feel about DSI programs, my home life, communicating, my health, opportunity, and myself. Those different things will be really helpful if a client's having a hard time kind of figuring stuff out because it breaks things down in a way that kind of makes them start thinking about what it is they want. Down here is the same wheel for the person who worked on these worksheets up here. And we've transferred this to some imagery here. So this is the final project that they work on. And you can see for the nutrition, make good habits area here in her personal goals, we've kind of decided to put up food because that's something that she really wants to work on the most. But we kind of went through and for some of the other things, we drew some stuff out. Now you don't have to be an excellent drawer to help a client with this. I mean, these things, stick figures do just fine. And if you can cut things out of a newspaper or a magazine, that's fine too. So over here for spirituality, we had go to church events and worship more. So we found a picture of a church. Relationships, we drew her dad and she colored it and painted it. Down here, community, this is her at the library with her friend, okay? And then over here, work, career, we just drew out a couple different things that she likes now. Like I said, you could substitute pictures and things like that you find elsewhere. That's no problem.